just hit it, but we'll go past it. Climate change just gets very, very quickly worse the more we warm the climate system. So today we already see the effects of climate change in numerous extremes across the globe.
And Fine Gael's announced the death of former Kerry Senator Paul Cochran. Leo Varadkar has expressed his condolences. He says Paul was a very proud Kerryman and during his professional life was a member of Killarney Urban District Council, where he was first elected in 1985. He also served in the Shannon, Kerry County Council and Kerry VEC and Dingle Harbour Commissioners. It's 8:02.
News Talk weather.
Thanks to Ryanair. Release your dad bod this summer with low-fare flights to Ibiza, Malaga or Zadar.
Generally dry and clear, though cloud will thicken in the south and southwest, later bringing the chance of showers for parts of Munster. Lowest temperature is 9 to 14 degrees. And now you're up to date on News Talk.
Your chance to win big. News Talk's cash machine.
So the winning is showing no signs of slowing down. On Friday, someone could win 60 grand heading into the summer. We will give you an amount. You take note. Enter it. If we call you, give us that number and you win all the cash. The cash amount number is €60,000 exactly. Text play to 57557. That's 57557. Get your entry in by 3 o'clock tomorrow. Then across the Go Loud network of stations, we make that call. If your phone rings, answer within 5 rings and tell us the exact amount in euro and cent. It is €60,000 exactly. Over 18s only. Text costs $2.50 plus your standard message rate, and you're playing across the Go Loud network of stations. Terms and conditions on newstalk.com.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
Welcome back. It is Thursdays Off the Ball. Nathan with you this evening. Big life decisions coming away live on Off the Ball over the next few minutes, because I'm joined in studio by Tadhg Leader and Ross Bolger. How are you keeping, lads?
Very good. Thanks for having us.
So Tadhg, you've been with us many times before. People will recognise you were a former rugby player with Connacht. You switched your attention to American football, attempted to become a place kicker in the NFL around about 2020, and in the last couple of years have had the Leader Kicker programme, where you've been trying to help Irish athletes apply for scholarships in and around American football. And Ross is one of your protégés.
He's been the star pupil.
And you've got a big decision that you're going to announce to the world, to your family?
Yeah.
Do your family know yet?
Hello, my family.
Your family know. God damn it. I thought it might even be a surprise to them. Because you were going. You've got yourself the scholarship. You are heading to America and you're going to go to either Idaho State or Boston College, and you're going to reveal exactly where you're going in just a few minutes. But hold your horses. We've got to build the tension over the next little while. Tadhg, talk us through this then, because we had a roadshow out in, was it Vincent's the end of last summer, and we had a couple of superstar Gaelic footballers up taking their chances, and you were trying to recruit around then. This was around the College Football Classic, and get people interested who may not have thought of American football, the NFL, an American lifestyle as a possibility for them. What's happened since then?
Yeah, that was actually our first ever event, now that I think of it. So you've been there since the start. But yeah, basically since then it's just been about creating awareness of like how realistic it is for a Gaelic football, soccer player, rugby player to use our natural kicking ability, and how you can turn that into scholarships in America, playing college football. And college football I equate it to being like in like the Premier League, because some of the resources, the crowds, the stadiums, just the whole ambience around it, it's mega. Like we don't really have that, and that compares to it. So the last couple of months I've just been trying to create awareness of what college football is, how Irish lads can get involved, and then just traveling around the country. Probably coached maybe like 150 people now at this stage to try to figure out who has the ability, and then this fella has stuck his hand up time and time again. So yeah, that's kind of the short version of that.
So what type of people have been applying?
It's been probably 80% Gaelic footballers. I thought given my background in rugby, I thought I'd get a bit more rugby players, but mostly Gaelic footballers, and then kind of varying from 16 years of age to maybe like 23, 24. But there is no age limit. The good thing about college football is, there's lads go over there at 30 and play college football. The only rule is that if you have never gone to college, you can play college football, because your NCAA eligibility is what determines that. So but yeah, that's been probably the target market, 17 to 23. But like, I'm happy to expand if someone can bang a ball and they're keen to give it a go.
And when you're whittling it down to a short list, what's the criteria? What are you looking for from the applicants? Outliers.
Like, we have to be outliers, because an outliers means that we can just kick it a bit further, get it up off the ground quicker, so get elevation quicker, and then just in terms of punting, your distances have to be bigger, because it's been a tough sell to get Irish lads who have never played the sport into Division 1 college programs, let alone on scholarships. Like college football is really competitive, Division 1 is ridiculously competitive, and then they're limited on scholarships, and it's a big decision to give something that could be worth a couple $100,000 US. So for me, I've had to find outliers, because I have to go to a college coach and say, like, this lad is phenomenally good, and I've only done it with 2 players so far, and both of them have walked away with D1 scholarships from our trip last week. So yeah, it's not easy. Like, I need to be very selective, because I need to make sure whoever goes is going to do a great job of representing Ireland, really. So yeah, that's how we've done it.
How many Irish players have played Division 1 college football?
Good question. Not many. Only 1 or 2 come up.
So there's never really been a path to it before this?
Never been a fella born in Ireland, raised in Ireland, and trained in Ireland. This is the first lad. Because the guys born in Ireland who've moved abroad to do this, to get trained, whatever, no one's been introduced to the sport and trained in Ireland. So he's the first, and the first of many. So
why'd you choose him?
His ginger hair.
I was going to say, you went and chose the most Irish looking lad possible.
Yeah.
Was that it?
Very marketable. I wasn't a great player, but I made some inroads in the US just with ginger head, so I thought, you know what, we're onto something here. But no,
when you walked in, I thought you were twins. So. What had he got?
Literally the first session I did in Sport Ireland back in September, he rocked up. Only 4 people came, and he rocked up, and like, we're just kicking the ball 7 yards into a net, just Gaelic football pitch, and instantly just stood out the power and the height that he get in the ball over 7 yards. We're just warming up, and straight away I was like, well, that's not normal. And then as we got back, to distances, he was getting beyond 50 yards off the bat. So it was a really easy decision. Like, again, outliers. When you see an outlier, you can tell this lad has something different to everyone else. So thankfully, we found him early, and he's been unreal ever since.
What's your background, Ross?
Well, I've loved sports my whole life.
They're a small bit in the middle here,
Loved sports my whole life. I've been playing Gaelic football since I was 5. Picked up rugby as well when I was 11 or 12. Played that till I was 17, until Gaelic football got a bit serious around my minor year. I would have played in my home county underage the whole way up. Had a stint with the seniors in 2020, and then with the under-20s in 2021 as well, I would have played. And then, I've always been into American football. Then when Tadhg started up his kicking in September, I knew I had to give it a go, just because I loved the sport so much, and I knew the seriousness of college football as well, and how big a deal it was. Since September it just took off, really.
He describes you as an outlier there, that the unique skill set that you need. You were probably a good way down the track. Did you know you were? Did you suspect this was something you'd be good at?
No, that's the reason I went. I went to see if I was any good at it. I knew very little about the kicking side of it. I just knew the way they'd walk up to the ball, really, from watching it. So I just went really to see if I was any good at it, because sitting on the couch every Sunday evening watching the NFL, that's what I was thinking. Could I kick the ball like these lads that are making money from it and having unreal experiences? And thankfully Tadhg let me know after the first session. I got a phone call after it saying, like, this is really good, like, you could actually go to America.
What happens then?
Just been training flat out since that first session, meeting every week, 2 and 3 times a week, early mornings, working around both our schedules, Zoom calls. Then traction came in from coaches, doing Zoom calls with them, a lot of paperwork as well, and then in January I went out to Division 2 college and had a trial there at Pace University in New York. That went well. I got an offer there, but we both knew that I could hold out for a better offer from Division 1 colleges, and thankfully we did. And then the trip went unbelievably well last week.
Tadhg, how do you go about selling a young Irish player to a Division 1 college when there is no track record of Irish players coming along, and you're probably trying to explain Gaelic football to them and the way you kick a ball in Gaelic football, and how actually the skill set might be somewhat transferable?
That was definitely by far the hardest bit, is to convince them of the ability and how it transfers. So I mean, yeah, you know, we're sending clips of him playing Gaelic football. We're showing he's an athlete. We're showing that, you know, if he punts the ball, for example, and there's a return, that he can make a tackle because he's, you know, used to playing rugby and Gaelic football, so he's physical. So you're trying to lean into all those things just to create any angle, because they're all skeptical. Up until 7-8 days ago, like every American coach was quite skeptical until they got to see him in the flesh and see what he does. But that was the hardest piece. That was the hardest piece, is to try and convince them. And yeah, because, you know, they're always skeptical of the footage. You know, he's kicking on a rugby pitch, for example, and they're like, well, how far is that actually, and how wide are those goals actually? You know, they're asking all these questions. I'm just like, look, it's a rugby pitch. It's 55 meters is the halfway line, or excuse me, yards. We kick everything in yards. But to get that was hard. But thankfully, once he got over there last week and we went to some camps, that shut everyone up, and then that turned from us being desperate to find an offer to an influx of offers.
Right. And from the conversations you've had, what is it that they've seen that they like?
Those camps are like, so they call them like last man standing, so it's almost like a penalty shootout type thing. You know, everyone starts at like 20 yards and they zigzag back until, you know, you're the last one standing. He did 2 competitions, 2 big D1 colleges, and won them both. So like, just the bottle basically to handle it. It's pressurized because you're kicking for something that's worth a lot of money, these scholarships. So I mean, that stood out to them. And then just the more that when the stakes got higher, like, he started hitting cleaner balls, because the elevation's key. Unless you kick a ball up, you have 7 yards to get it up. If you don't get it up, it's blocked. And then obviously second thing is the accuracy. So they're judging how quick you get it up. They're judging the rotation on the ball. They're looking at all these things from like because you know, these guys are professional coaches. They make a bad decision, they could be literally fired. College coaches, it's a ruthless enough gig. So they're quite difficult, and like they have high standards. But yeah, once they saw him in the flesh last week, that's made life much easier. And the cool thing is, it's made life much easier for the next crop of Irish lads that are going to come on the back of the foundation he led over there last week.
So all this has happened incredibly quickly. If it's only last week and you're down to 2 colleges, Idaho State and Boston College. Before you tell us where you're going to go, what's the expectation? Are you dreaming of the NFL? Are you thinking this is, you know, your path to the big time, and in 10 years time you're earning $5 million a year? Or are you thinking this is a life opportunity to go live in America, get an education, and everything else is a bonus?
Yeah, well, last September this was the dream, so I'm already living the dream. I've got my scholarship to a Division 1 college, so I'm just taking it day by day, really, to be honest. Obviously everyone wants to go to the NFL and make professionally and all, but I know even if that doesn't work out, I can turn around after 2 years and say I've made history and I've done something that I never thought was possible for myself. Like, living in America for 2 years and playing college football at that level is just going to be an unbelievable experience, and anything that happens after that will be the cherry on top.
Tadhg, Idaho State, Boston College, for anyone who's not aware of Division 1 college football, what level are these two at?
Yeah, there's levels to college football, and BC, Boston College, would be a higher level program. You know, I think the big 50,000 seater. They took us on a tour there the last day. They set it out for every game. Facilities are, I've been in Aviva, been in Croke Park, all that kind of stuff. Not even comparable. It's actually hard to fathom just like how far these colleges can go in terms of resources. So BC would be a bigger program. And then Idaho State is be a kind of mid-tier Division 1 program, but has a lot of positives as well. But you're still playing in front of 10,000 there, and that's it's a smaller end maybe in terms of D1, but you're not getting 10,000 at the sports ground every week or whatever. So like it's still, college sports is it's a mega business, but then the experience of it, I think, is will be truly life changing, and this lad, I think, will make good use of it.
Well, hello to all our new viewers from Boston College, from Idaho State, tuning in this evening. Come on, let's get to it. You brought the hat, so you're going to put the hat on. This is the big unveiling. This is the decision. Should have had music, Arthur, in the background, confetti, everything. We're not used to this.
Hey, there he is.
I'm going to say that's an Idaho State hat.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Good guess. Thanks very much.
Why Idaho?
we loved it from the second. Before we even left, the Idaho State special teams coordinator, he actually came to Dublin to see me, to watch me kick. Yeah, so from the get-go we knew they were very interested. And he was very nice. We chatted for about 2 hours before I even went and kicked. I know we met at Holt in a coffee shop, and we just got along really well. And he was just telling me about the environment there and the attitude of the coaching staff. And then when I met the head coach when we visited the campus, he was very sound. He was just saying that he's coached in Europe before. He knows what it's like moving away from home and stuff like that, and he said that he'll do the best to take care of me as well, like obviously moving overseas by myself. But there was other factors as well. They're taking me as a punter and a kicker, which means I can excel in both, which like some other colleges were saying, oh, we only want you as a punter or a kicker. Also, they have an indoor stadium which is ideal for kicking at a really high elevation, which means my kicks will be going higher and further than on an average day in an average stadium. So we just thought it was the best fit based on those, and I found a course I really liked in sports management and coaching, and me and Tadhg have already discussed the possibility of coming back and coaching with him in the future as well, so that's why I think it's a great fit.
You been to Idaho then?
Yeah.
Nice place?
Yeah, there's lots to do. It's about 2 hours away from Yellowstone National Park. It's not your average American place. Fishing, hunting, all that is common there. So it's definitely going to be an experience.
Just like Laois.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, it's the Laois of America.
That's interesting. So that you'll be basically leaving it to decide whether you're going to be a punter or a kicker. When do they expect you to make that final decision?
Well, that's the thing. Throughout the season, they basically said I can do both. And then after that, after maybe the first year, I can look at my stats, see which I'm doing better in. But as long as I'll do both for as long as I can. And then if the day comes I have to make a decision, I'll just look back and see which one I'm doing better in, and which leaves me with the best opportunity for the future. I'm
sure you've analysed your kicking technique to death over the last 6 months. Can you talk us through your technique as a Gaelic footballer, kicking a free off the ground, to what your technique is now?
Yeah, so every session me and Tadhg, camera rolls get filled with just videos and videos of me kicking the ball. I think your storage is full from it. But it's really all about the ball contact with the American football. It's a smaller ball, it's a smaller sweet spot, which means it can easily go wrong. The first thing you have to get used to is your steps up to the ball. In kind of Gaelic football and rugby, you can take whatever steps you want. Everyone's different, but for this they look for 3 steps back and 2 to the side, and anything else like they'd be questioning. So that was the first adjustment. And then after that, it's about ball contact, looking where you struck the ball, not slicing it whenever there's a bad ball, which is a rare occasion, but
happens.
You're looking back on the video, where did you hit that? Did you feel it on this part of your foot or that part of your foot? Stuff like that. So yeah.
There's a heavy analysis of it then.
Yeah.
Where do you go then from here, now that you've had a breakthrough? You said you have a second player as well who's in negotiations?
Yeah, former Cavan footballer Ronan Patterson. Yeah, he's heading off to Monmouth College University in New Jersey as a punter, and now the next thing, on the back of his performance, we had multiple programs interested. So no, I'm telling them, look, Ross isn't coming, but their obvious question is well, who else you got? And right now, my focus was Ross and Ronan, just because I needed to get 2 people start to finish, show the path, show it's realistic. I have around 400 people in my emails right now. I've a load of messages on social media from people that want to give this a crack. So where do I go next? It's about touring the country and finding the next Ross, finding the next Ronan, and I hope year on year now as I mentioned earlier, I handed in my notice today at my day job. So
you're all in on this.
I'm all in on
pressure,
this.
Ross.
No. He's done it now. He's done his end of the bargain. But no, the potential for this is mega. Like it is. And last week went over in the US, meeting all the coaches, seeing their reaction to Ross. And I know there's more lads out there like Ross that like it's a life-changing athletic and academic opportunity. So now it's just about, maybe next year I might have 10 lads. Maybe next year, just keep building on that. But I need to go looking. I need to go finding lads and scouting, as the Americans would say.
Yeah, Irish kickers might be the money ball of the NFL, it turns out. Have they looked? Do they generally look outside their regular paths for kickers?
No. So that's been the hard bit. No, they don't. I experienced that in my own career when I moved over to the sport. That was my biggest struggle. Was I'd be talking to NFL scouts and they'd say, "Yeah, we love your kicking, but like, where are your college stats?" And I'd be like, "Oh, well, I was playing professional rugby around the world, so that's why I wasn't in college." But they're kind of, it's tough. So going to college to make it to the pros, college is a testing ground that it all happens. So yeah, they're quite traditional, a lot of the American coaches, but kicking and punting is definitely a position where there's a bit more opportunity, I'd say, but you need to play in college. So that's the plan now. There's going to be a pathway, Irish lads introduced to the game, train in Ireland, and then they go over to college, and then that's the plan. That was the end goal, get to college, because college football D1 is mega. But if you do perform and you take care of business, yeah, maybe there is a chance you go pro, but I'm not trying to push that one because I think the odds of that are not high. But playing D1 college football is a mega achievement, so that's what I think I can help people do.
You've obviously watched any amount of video from Irish Gaelic footballers and rugby players kicking a ball in general. What's their technique like? We swing different. You see, in rugby and Gaelic football, we swing and we get our kicking foot comes back to ground quite quickly because we're on the move. It's a pretty dynamic thing. Whereas the Americans are really, really elongated and their foot goes like up to, almost chest height. So it's a total different swing. So we've been trying to adapt our swing habits just to look more American. But as Ross said, as you said that first day with yourselves, with Sean O'Shea and Shane Walsh, we've been kicking with them, and the biggest struggle is the distance from the ball. Being 2.5 steps or 3 and 2, so you're 2.5 steps from the ball. That's by far the biggest struggle. Kicking it all wrong, them lads.
7 or 8 steps on approach. They figured it out, I'm sure. So, but yeah, no, it's been class, and the reaction's been class. So it's onwards and upwards from here.
Yeah. So this is your full-time gig. So is it just kickers?
Kickers and punters.
Right.
Kickers and yeah. So yeah, we're doing both.
And when's the next recruitment happening?
Follow us at Leader Kicking on social media,
and they have to approach you. Are you going around watching matches, spotting players who might have certain something?
No, not yet. No, there's been huge demand. So to be honest, I haven't even. The whole focus was the last 10 days in America, get the lads sorted and figure out the next piece. So. Could end up doing that. That sounds, I'd be happy to go watch some matches. Yeah, it'd be sound. But for now, yeah, the interest is coming in our way pretty heavy, and I'm on the back of this and all the stuff these lads are doing. I envision will just keep growing.
So when does the big move happen, Ross?
About 4 weeks' time. They're looking to get me out after the 4th of July break, so I plan to be starter training on the 10th of July, so I'm looking forward to it. July training will be good enough, but then the August training, they said, is about 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day, so that'll be full on, and class starts August 21st and rolls into the season. First game is away to San Diego on the 3rd of September, I think. So
something to look forward to.
Yeah,
that'll get through those long sessions.
Yeah.
And how much of it is the kicking practice? How much of it then is the physical side? As you say, if you're a punter as well, you need to be able for the punt returns. You need to be able to tackle properly. You need to be strong.
Yeah, I'm going to be treated the same in the gym and from a conditioning side as well as the whole team. There's nothing changes there. I'll be doing the same gym sessions, same running. Obviously, when they're doing their offense and defense drills, I'll be off kicking. And then I'm in the same meetings as them all, really, unless we're broken up. But Yeah, same meetings, so I'll have the same hours in a day as the whole team. I'm just as involved as
you probably
everyone
won't, to be
else.
honest. Kickers and punters, we have a bit more time off.
All right.
Yeah. It's just it's a little bit more. You don't have to learn a big playbook.
No,
So
you need to be like Eric Cantona when he arrived at United and hanging around for an hour after training doing that extra kicking practice. So you know you're serious about it.
Yeah, when I've played my first few games in Dublin, it was grand. I was able to eat rolls on the sideline at half time. It wasn't too intense, but I feel like over there that might change a bit anyway.
Well, listen, Ross, thanks a million for coming in the studio. Thanks for giving us the announcement. It is Idaho State Bengals. You're going to be heading to the next month. We'll keep a very close eye come September as to how it's going. And Tadhg, if anybody's listening and they're intrigued and they think, you know what, maybe I could do that, how do they get in touch? Yeah,
just reach out to us at Leader Kicking is the tag on, say, Instagram and stuff like that. We have a website, and there's a load of people out there. I mean, Ross thought this was impossible 6 months ago, and now he's doing it. So, you know, the Irish people are interested. We're getting unbelievable support from kind of Irish American groups, and we've had amazing sponsors like Delta and Irish American Partnership, just like make this all possible, because this wouldn't be possible it wasn't cheap going to America for 10 days, doing 8 states in 10 days. So yeah, leaderkicking.com, reach out to us, and if you can kick it, I can probably help you.
All right, Tadhg, great stuff. Ross, very best of luck.
Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Off the Ball on News Talk. News Talk Breakfast.
Terry Strada, who lost her husband in